acknowledge you, Josie McCarthy, and the Food for Lane County dining room staff. How many people here are on staff? Raise your hand. About 8 people. Thank you. And I know that there are other people that are not here that are also on staff.
No, this is my team right here.
This is your team?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I can introduce you to him. Do you have a second to say?
Sure, absolutely.
So Aubrey is my volunteer floor coordinator. Matt is our dish room plus floater, does a lot of other things.
Okay.
Ryan's our chef. Tanya is our outside hospitality safety person coordinator. Keegan is our hospitality safety assistant. Renee, where is she? Oh, Renee is right there. She used to be inside. She's been a volunteer inside. 7 years later, now she's outside, does service one. So she greets everyone that comes in because they have to get a reservation from her.
That's great. So you're the reader and reservation.
Hostess with the mostest.
Well, that's great. This is your core staff right here.
That's totally cool, yeah.
That's great, great. So I'll resume. We acknowledge you, Josie McCarthy, and the Food for Lane County dining room staff as remarkable visionaries and generous people in our community. Your leadership in feeding the hungry with dignity has contributed immensely to the lives of thousands and vitality of our cultures in Oregon. May your creative work and human compassion continue to shine. Thank you. And it's signed by some of us.
I couldn't have done any of this without all the years of teams that I've had and a lot of the many volunteers here. So my name plus hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. For 17 years I've been at this. And it started out as a loungy soup kitchen that was dangerous, and now a full service restaurant. So I'm grateful to be alive and grateful for all the people that have helped me get this award.
Great, well there's more. Here's a letter to you, Josie. Dear Josie, we hope this finds you and all of the Food for Lane County staff continuing to successfully navigate these strange times of COVID as well as possible. Josie, the work you and the dining room staff are doing in our community inspired us to choose you for the Oregon Blackberry Award. This award is our way of acknowledging and thanking you for your contributions to the lives of those around you, both housed and unhoused. You are truly an example of how to treat our neighbors. Josie, you and the staff of the Food for Lane County dining room have shown kindness and love in the care and feeding of our neighbors, some of whom have no home to go to, or could not afford the home they have if they did not get meals from the dining room. They come knowing that they will be treated with dignity and grace. You have been at the helm for 17 years, and during that time, your guidance and thoughtfulness have made this a special place for so many. Each step was always guided by giving diners a more welcoming environment. At one time, this was more of a soup kitchen. Today, the inside dining is very much like a restaurant, where diners are waited on by volunteers and staff, adding greatly to the mission of dining with dignity. And while you feed the hungry, you've also taught so many of us to look at our world and our neighbors with more understanding. Over the years, the dining room has served an average of 200 meals a day, every day you've been open. In addition, the dining room has supplied diners with warm items such as socks, gloves, hand warmers, handmade woolen hats, and blankets. And on hot days, cool water, shade, and a place to rest. Truly, the dining room serves the community. When the COVID pandemic hit, you didn't miss a beat. You changed how the dining room operated and kept on going, serving meals to go to the diners. You've also used this time to upgrade the kitchen, so more of your food is prepared on site by your chef and staff. Josie, you and your staff are the 33rd recipients of the Oregon Blackberry Award. We have great respect for who you are and the compassion you have demonstrated towards your neighbors. You make this world a better place. Working towards a more just and equitable world, Steve and Debbie Gibson, Raymond Albano, myself, and other members of the Oregon Blackberry Trust, David Hazen and others. There's a couple of Benjamin Franklin's
Thank you.
towards whatever you like to do with it.
We have all sorts of needs.
Sure.
Sprinklers and keeping the parking lot cool, so, yeah, wow. I just, I'm a woman of many words, but today I'm very much for Clint to be here. You know, I had a bad diagnosis, which was fatal for 3 months, and they told me to call my family in.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, hell no, they're not getting rid of me yet.
Oh.
And somehow I was able to crawl my back into life, January, February, March, and now I'm here.
Wow.
And I tell you what, I'm so glad I stayed, because wow, this is fabulous. I'm very, very grateful for all of you for this. And you know, like I said before, I couldn't do it without all the help. And Food for Lane County, they did not like the idea, they didn't understand me. I'll run the soup kitchen like a restaurant. I'm like, oh no, you won't. I'm like, yes, I will. And through the years, Kitty, a huge supporter, while she was a mayor, and Betty. Yeah, so it's been a fun ride. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Trouble's everywhere, and the world is getting dark. We're looking for a glimmer, searching for a spark. Someone who brings hope, someone who shines a light, who works for peace and justice and won't give up the fight. Oregon is better because of you. Your passion for your work comes shining through. The world's a little brighter, the future's a little brighter. Thank you for doing what you do. In our little corner here in Oregon, sometimes it's gray and dreary and hard to find the sun. But like blackberries do, we search for golden maize. Fruit produced in hard times deserves our highest praise. And Oregon is better because of you. Your passion for your work comes shining through. The world's a little brighter, the future's a little brighter. Thank you for doing what you do. The world's a little brighter, the future's a little brighter. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one more song, but before we do, I just wanted to say I've learned a lot here, and it's this. We, you know, how many hours have I sat here and played music, or sat over there and played music, or served people? I mean, I saw a guy on the street the other day, and we said hi to each other. He said, "You still play music?" Yep. You know, he's a diner here, and they remember us. They are our neighbors, and this has been taught here very well. So, thank you, everybody, to all the staff here. I really appreciate it, and Josie as the coming up with the sometimes crazy ideas. You know, when we went to go waiting on tables, there was such an uproar about that. Oh,
60 volunteers showed up.
Oh
Meeting
my
for us to
gosh, we
transfer.
can't do that
And
stuff.
a lot of them did not
It
want
was
to do
brilliant.
it.
It was just
I
absolutely
was like,
brilliant.
don't stop me now.
But now we're going to do one more song, and this song has, let's see, it has Oregon, summer, and
Blackberry.
Blackberries, that's right. I should introduce, this is, Renee knows what it is. So this is Ken Zimmerman and Rosanna Costello, and the three of us are Cross Current.
This one's called No Place Like Oregon in the Summertime. Sing along if you don't. There's no place like Oregon in the summertime. The blackberries hanging flat on the vine, and those tall fir trees sway in the sweet Pacific breeze. There's no place else could set my soul at ease, where the white water crashes down from the mountain, and the hot springs bubble up from the ground. I used to camp out there all summer underneath the singing trees, and paddle and play or just listen to the sound, because there's no place like Oregon in the summertime, where the blackberries hang right on the vine, and those tall fir trees sway in the sweet Pacific breeze. There's no place else to set my soul at ease. Place here. Sometimes I wonder why I wander so far away from everything that matters the most, as I walk through the streets of some big city all alone. With this old guitar, I feel just like a ghost. If I have to hop on a freight train or step out on the highway and stick out my thumb, when this long winter ends, I know you'll find me on my way back up to the mountains where all this started from. No place like Oregon in the summertime, where the blackberries hang right on the vine, and those tall fir trees sway in the sweet Pacific breeze. There's no place else could set my soul at ease. There's no place like Oregon in the summertime, where the blackberries hang fat on the vine, and those tall fir trees sway in the sweet Pacific breeze. There's no place else to set my soul at
it takes us to play. They pay us nothing, we'll come. We're good at that. So I think if somebody else had anything that they wanted to say, about Josie in the dining room and what it's meant to them or anything, Kitty.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I was very honored to be asked to come. And when I was mayor, I was very proud to be in a city that had a dining room.
You pushed us. I mean, if I didn't have Kitty and Betty, another celebrity, Eugene, highlight of my life, we couldn't have, people just couldn't get their head around why would we, some people on our board said, you're enabling drunks and drug addicts. Why are you treating them nicely? So it was a huge fight for 5 years. And I don't know how I first met you, but I'm like, oh my God, I love this woman. So I kind of barged my way in, and all of a sudden she fought for it, and Betty fought for it. And the board would have been very conservative at the time because we're asking for money. We just have to, they had who they were. But they couldn't get there. They bought this restaurant actually from the very beginning, but they ran it like a soup kitchen. They didn't realize you can't run it like a soup kitchen. And there was problems, and they had to close it down because there were no boundaries, there was no structure. It took the city to like us, to help my organization, to back us, to understand what I was doing. But thanks to you two women and a few other people, it really was...
I just want to say that I think, I remember back when, everybody was so scared of this place. It was like, just because you had those people, it was all going to ooze over to the neighborhood and cause problems, and people talked very badly, and you were very clear about what your goal was.
It's a restaurant. In all these years, we've had one thing stolen, which is that second painting there, which the paintings were done by homeless people. And the actual person brought it back 2 days later.
Wow.
In 17 years, we've not had things stolen. We've only been tagged twice by Portland people. So they love this restaurant.
I know, and the other thing I wanted to say is that big word, respect. One of the biggest burdens that homeless people have is not being seen, not being treated like they're real human beings, and not being treated like they're worthy of being on this earth with us. And I thought that Josie and crew were just a wonderful example for the community of what you get if you treat people as if they do exist and they matter and they deserve the best. And so I think the people who come here get the best and come out feeling better and able to face what they have to face. So that is a big, huge contribution to our community and actually to the world, and a fine example, because you don't see many things like this anywhere.
Our old police chief would tell people, because they were trying, a lot of people were trying to close us down, and he would say people make better decisions. Pete Kearns would say people make better decisions after they come to the dining room.
That's right.
So the crime rate is not going crazy, and I'd be working with the neighbors like, look, I understand it. I wouldn't want to have a business that's losing it because people are vandalizing, but our guests aren't doing that right now. They may do it somewhere else, but not during the 12 hours we're here.
But this took it to a new level about giving people dignity and respect. And I appreciate that Steve helps get the music thing started and organized and gave us all slots to fill and do it. But there were moments that I will always remember, playing songs, playing Grandpa Was a Carpenter, and some old guy gets up and afterwards just tells me all about his grandfather. And, just great moments that I respect, and I got far more. I ran into Beth Wood recently, was talking to her. She says she will always treasure this place, again, as one of her favorite places. And Beth is a well-known, not famous, but well-known musician, tours nationally. But thank you for this. Thank you, Josie. Thank you to the staff. You guys are the greatest. And volunteers.
When Josie first invited me to come and see the dining room, I hadn't heard of it before. And I was astonished when I got here. Not only was there good food, hospitality, there were flowers, and there was music. And I thought, this is a great place. And I have admired Josie ever since I first met her. I think she's done great work. My grandson was a volunteer here for a while. And at his memorial service, which was not happy, but a man showed up late and said that he knew Will from the dining room, and I said, "Oh, did you work with him?" He said, "No, I ate there. He served me," and he wanted to come to his memorial service.
And I'll always remember what you told us. This is sacred space. I will never forget that. This is sacred space. It's a safe haven for the diners and for everyone. Thank you.
This population was somewhat invisible to me. And what I want to say is that the service is to volunteers too. This facilitates so many people who don't see or interact. You facilitate this interaction, and that's in the hundreds also. And it made a big difference in my life. You started at pots and pans, and you kind of graduate towards serving. That was a privilege to serve. And what I remember is serving, and there's a lot of rules here to keep everything specific. How much time they can sit. I remember one of the rules was you can only eat one dessert. So. Like a regular server, I'm sorry, the dessert was good, or they wanted the good dessert, like sometimes there's differences. And they saw that dessert going over there, and there's like just donuts left or something. And as a server, and just like in a restaurant, you become an advocate for your client. So I ended up like sneaking special desserts to one of my favorite clients. And that is what transforms you. You become their advocate.
Right, John. That's very nice.
Thank you, everybody. Just really, thank you so much. It's just been my lucky day that I was able to arrive in from Ireland and Food for Lane County took me on, because I didn't really think about running a restaurant actually. It just happened to be how it worked out, and so I'm grateful for everybody here, and just seeing everybody is just awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Josie.